As Winston Churchill said, when you're on a great horse, you have one of the best seats you will ever have. Probably the initial cost of purchasing a horse won't hold a candle to the long-term cost of ownership. If you add the buying price, one can expect to spend a few $1,000s to find an appropriate mount, though this price will depend on the market, the type of horse, its intended use, and your location. According to a survey, the University of Maine found that the average annual cost of horse ownership is $3,876 per horse. You all are just wondering where that money goes. A huge portion of that money goes towards food. The average horse weighed around 1,100 pounds and needs to eat a minimum of 1.5 to 2.5% of its body weight each day in hay and grain. While a blade of hay or a bag of grain won't set you back that much, that bale or bag won't last very long. The food itself costs about 1/3 to 1/2 of the total expense of horse ownership, almost averaging more than $1,000 per year. Another major expense that needs to be considered is a combination of veterinarian and farrier fees. Just like other pets, like your dog or cat that needs regular maintenance and care, so does a horse, and it costs a lot more than the care of a small pet. Vet fees alone average $485 per year, including standard checkups, vaccinations, and tests, 4 annual dewormings, and minor care for non-emergency injuries. In case your horse needs emergency care, expect vet expenses to jump significantly. You'd be wise to have an emergency vet fund with several $1,000s saved just in case. In addition to vet fees, the cost of hoof maintenance must be considered as well. Caring for your horse's hooves isn't an optional expense. Poor hoof care can lead to infection, joint hyperextension, and even permanent lameness. In addition to daily care by the owner, horses should be seen by a certified farrier in a gap of 6 to 8 weeks to be trimmed or shoed. The annual cost for trimming is roughly $350, while shoeing can cost significantly more depending on how many hooves are shoed and how often they're replaced. If someone is keeping a horse on his property, there are some general maintenance costs required to make sure everything is well cared for and functional. Upkeep of the barn, stable or shelter, maintenance of equipment, and fencing and vehicle maintenance of a trailer all fall into this category. You also need to provide bedding for your horse if it's being stabled inside. Depending upon the kind of your facility and the required upkeep, horse owners can expect to spend more than $800 on maintenance per year. Owning a horse gets more expensive if you have to board your animal on someone else's property. Boarding fees vary extensively based on the expectations of the boarding facility. If you simply board a horse in a pasture with no facility of exercise, food, or other amenities, you might be able to get away with boarding for less than $100 per month. That said, if you want to board your horse with additional facilities like food, water, fresh bedding, regular exercise, and other amenities, expect to pay a lot more. The average monthly boarding fee is around $260, although some facilities can jump to the amount of $600. In addition to the ongoing costs of horse ownership, there are some occasional or one-time expenses you should be prepared to pay. For instance, you'll want to purchase horse tack and grooming supplies such as saddles, bridles, halters, brushes, shampoo, horse blankets, and lead lines. Each of these requires an advanced investment, and depending on use, will require maintenance or replacement from time to time. Training is commonly another overlooked expense. Depending on your area of the country, lessons and training for your horse can come at a hefty cost. If you want to ride the horse you purchased, the horse must be broke to ride. Even if you purchase a horse that's already been through basic training, it may require additional training to work well. Some horses are ornery or headstrong, and you need to feel confident that your horse will listen to and obey the commands you provide. At the same time, you may need training as well. If you haven't spent much time around horses, enlisting the assistance of an instructor or trainer to teach you how to approach, care for, and ride the horse effectively can make the user experience more rewarding for all. On average, lessons and training cost between $30 and $100 per half hour. Last but not least, there are equipment expenses for the rider. You cannot ride a horse without proper gear and taking safety precautions, and to fulfill that, you have to spend some extra dollars. Helmets, riding boots, chaps, or riding breeches, spurs or crops, and gloves are not only several of the items you may need. The helmet alone can run $400 or more, but you should be prepared to budget and purchase a few of these items. Horses take a toll on more than just your wallet. You will need to invest emotional and physical resources as well as your time. Driving to the barn, grooming, and working your horse can require upwards of 2 hours each time. For most horse owners, this can be a 3 to 6 day a week commitment. Working with horses can be very rewarding, building athleticism, coordination, dedication, and many life skills, but before deciding your level of involvement, it's important to plan a realistic long-term budget for time and finances. Owning a horse is a royal fondness that requires a heavy budget to fulfill, but there are some ways to satiate the desire by offering regular horses experience that won't cost as much as true horse ownership. Don't shy away from facing the truth because horses live upwards of 25 years. So unless you're ready to spend $3,000 or more per year for more than 20 years, you're probably not ready for the commitment. And you can feel your desire by having riding lessons, attending a horse club, and joining a horse camp during summers. If you watched till the end, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. And we'll see you in the next video.